folks, and welcome to your outlet for outdoors and Western lifestyle news, The Bend Show. I'm your host, Rebecca Wanner, a.k.a. Beck. We say this each week. We do love hearing from all of you, your comments, stories, ideas. Get a hold of us anytime. Call or text 305-900-2363. Again, that's 305-900-2363. Or you can always drop an email to bendradioshow@gmail.com. Right along, as always, is my producer and co-host, Jeff Tigger Erhardt. Now, we may have flipped the calendar. It's hard to believe August. We're already into our first week of August. And I found this interesting, Tigger. Did you know that Indiana and Kentucky, they started school this week?
That's what you were saying earlier in the week.
And not all the schools.
I had no idea that some schools started that early. So I hope they get out in like mid-March.
I wish they did. That would be nice. But yeah, I knew about Indiana typically having an early start. I didn't realize Kentucky did too. Now, not all of the schools in those two states have started, but a few have. And a lot of us will probably be in schools within the next couple of weeks. But I know what else kicked off this last week for a lot of schools, and that was footy football practice.
Oh my gosh, let the puking begin.
That's you. You were telling me that your school had a tradition that, you know, all the states, how that works. Yeah, you can't start until X date on the calendar. Your school would actually wait till 12:01 a.m. of that date. And
exactly.
You guys were on the gridiron.
We were running laps, doing all that, because I know most places you can only have so many practices where you're in full pads before the first game, and then there's a couple conditioning ones. But when the clock went 12:01, man, we were on the field and we were running laps in the middle of the night, which was kind of nice though, because it was cool out, and a lot of kids, you know, it's harvest season. They had to do stuff during the day or in the early morning and bale hay and stuff like that. So it wasn't that bad, but kind of a neat tradition.
You know, I almost feel like that's a tradition that should be brought back, especially in recent years. We've seen in the news where kids have suffered heat stroke. We've had such massive heat stroke.
I had heat exhaustion during one game.
Oh, you did?
I did. Didn't I ever tell you that when I was a junior in high school? Yeah, it was so blasted hot. It was a preseason game. I remember it like it was yesterday, and I got heat exhaustion really, really, really bad.
Yikes. Well, I'm going to put it this way regardless. I hope all of you that are training right now, whether it's football practice, cross country has kicked off, you're a parent sitting there going, Beck, why are you talking about this? I just got anxiety. Good luck. That's all I got to say. Speaking, though, of our youth or maybe another generation that is learning to make a lot of their money off of, say, YouTube, for example, maybe they're monetizing their Facebook, social media. There was a couple of stories this week that have crossed my wires. I thought you might want to hear about this. First one takes us to Ohio, where two Ohio YouTubers who ran the now removed Creek Kings Outdoors channel have been sentenced after investigators uncovered a years-long deer poaching operation tied to online content and sponsorship money. William Bethel, 28, and Justin Booth, 23, admitted to 20 wildlife-related offenses, get this, each including illegally hunting deer, trespassing, and failing to properly tag harvested animals. Investigators say the pair illegally hunted deer in Columbus area parks where hunting is prohibited and falsely claimed some of the animals were harvested in Kentucky. Now, according to Outdoor Life, Franklin County Wildlife Officer Mark Williams says the men were motivated by YouTube views and sponsorship deals, calling the case wildlife commercialization with a modern twist. I like that. He says every deer featured on their channel was illegally killed or possessed in some way. The investigation began after park staff discovered bait, tree stands, and trail cameras inside Three Creeks Metro Park. Even after officials removed the equipment, the men returned, allowing investigators to identify and document their activities over the following hunting season.
Oh, they were kind of videoing, making their own little hunting show.
think about every outdoors channel there is out there, right?
Gotcha. That's what they were doing. They were putting together their own little TV shows documenting said hunts and putting them on YouTube. That's what was going on.
That's how they were distributed is YouTube because, it's become very popular to start your own YouTube channel, which is exactly what these guys had done.
Hoping to get discovered, and in this case, got sponsorship dollars and actually sold the advertising on the darn thing.
Williams says the case also highlights clues that can help expose illegal hunting, such as transporting an ungutted deer over long distances to conceal where it was actually killed. The two cousins were ordered to pay more than $37,000 in combined fines, fees, and court costs. They will each serve 9 days in jail, lose their hunting, fishing, and trapping privileges for 5 years, and are banned from Columbus and Franklin County metro parks during that time.
I don't think that's enough.
I don't think so either.
When there's 20 offenses like that, and then they still, after their stuff was taken and they went back again, obviously that's the intent, and only paying combined $37,000, I think they should sit in the clink for a whole lot longer, and they lose hunting and fishing privileges for life. 100%.
That's what I had a hard time with. I couldn't believe that they only got, losing their privileges for 5 years. That's not long enough. To me, it should be for life.
Exactly, because look at how many people, I just seen it on Facebook, how many people were jumping on there and said, this is how many points I've accumulated. I haven't got drawn for a deer tag in 11 years or something like that. 5 years is nothing for them to wait. They should lose for life, and they should have to make payments for life, as far as I'm concerned.
All right, we're going to stay.
Good thing I'm not the judge. Man, these guys would be sitting in the clink forever.
Okay, staying on this topic that's dealing with online scrutiny, we're going to say within the hunting or conservation and outdoors world, we're going to head to Wyoming. A Texas social media influencer is offering a $10,000 reward for information identifying anyone who legally harvests a gray wolf from a Yellowstone pack after it leaves the national park, prompting sharp criticism from Wyoming wildlife officials and hunting advocates.
I've seen this on social media. I even asked you if this was for real or if this was just clickbait.
This is for real. Jonas Black announced the bounty on Facebook, saying he wants to identify hunters who harvest wolf 1090F or members of her pack during Wyoming's upcoming wolf season. Black also threatened to publicly expose anyone who legally tags one of the animals. The Wyoming Game and Fish Department called the offer outrageous, saying it encourages harassment of hunters who are following state law. Wyoming protects the identities of lawful wolf hunters from public disclosure because of past threats and intimidation directed at sportsmen. Wildlife officials emphasize that while wolves are protected inside Yellowstone National Park, they can legally be hunted once they leave park boundaries in designated management areas. Biologists also note that the famous Yellowstone pack is managed like any other wolf pack under the state's science-based wildlife management plan. To protect local wolf populations, Wyoming reduced the number of wolf tags available in the affected hunting unit from 8 to 4 this season. The season opens September 15th, and successful wolf hunts remain rare, with statewide hunter success rates averaging only about 3%. Hunter advocates warn that publicly targeting law-abiding hunters could discourage participation in regulated wildlife management programs and put private citizens at risk of harassment or threats. Our thoughts on this, I'm going to say on behalf of you and I, Tigger, private hunters should not have to face intimidation for participating in a illegal state-managed hunting season.
Whatsoever. And to offer $10,000 for what? Because he's going to expose them on Facebook? Well, I tell you what, if I get one of these wolves, I want to be on Facebook. I want to be all over it.
Well, you would be proud if you legally hunted this wolf.
Absolutely.
Let us praise people versus discourage people.
Absolutely.
On that note, stick around because when we come back, the controversy continues in Oregon, where hunting, fishing, and agriculture come under fire. You're listening to The Ben Show.
Crew, this is Jeff Tigger Erhardt, and check this out coming in 2026. RanchChannel.com proudly launches the Sales Series, your inside track to the world of livestock and ranching excellence. From elite bulls, heifers, and horses to the land and equipment, products, and programs shaping the future of agriculture, we bring you the stories behind the operations, the vision behind the genetics, and the focus that can elevate your herd. Whether you're building, expanding, or fine-tuning your ranch, dive deeper into the innovations and livestock programs changing the game. The Sales Series, only on ranchchannel.com, where smart ranching starts.
Is there that particular pair of boots or that shirt or pair of jeans that you just can't find anywhere else? Check out Medora Boot and Western Wear. Medora Boot and Western Wear is the go-to for boots, jeans, especially jackets, and even those hard-to-find accessories that make perfect gifts. Check out MedoraBoot.com, or better yet, give Kim a call at 701-623-1005 and tell Kim that Tigger and Beck sent you. For the latest in Western and outdoor practical and fashionable wear, there is only one, Medora Boot and Western Wear.
You want bucking bulls and horses? Well, we got them. Coyote Contracting presents the 2026 Golden Valley Shootout and Wayne Herman PRCA Invitational. It's 2 days of explosive action where the best of the best cowboys take on the toughest broncs and the rankest bulls. Then Saturday night, keep it going with the Party in the Dirt featuring live music from Moment's Notice. Join us Saturday and Sunday, August 15th and 16th in Golden Valley. Tickets on sale at the gate. The Golden Valley Shootout and Wayne Herman PRCA Invitational. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and don't miss the ride.
Welcome back to The Ben Show. I'm your host, Rebecca Wanner, a.k.a. Beck. Jeff Tigger Erhardt is in the co-host chair. We've been talking about some controversial topics already, and we're not stopping yet. This one takes us to Oregon. In case you hadn't heard, this is what's been going on since the beginning of the year. Oregon has had a controversial initiative petition, 28, IP28, also known as the Peace Act. And thankfully, it has failed to qualify for the November ballot after falling roughly 13,000 signatures short of the required threshold. The proposed measure would have removed long-standing exemptions to Oregon's animal cruelty laws, potentially, listen to this, potentially criminalizing legal hunting, fishing, ranching, farming, wildlife management, and other animal-related activities. Conservation groups, agricultural organizations, sportsmen, and bipartisan state leaders strongly opposed the proposal, warning it would have far-reaching impacts on Oregon's rural communities, food production, wildlife management, and outdoor heritage. Supporters of hunting and conservation welcomed the outcome, viewing it as a victory for science-based wildlife management and responsible stewardship. Organizations, including the Sportsmen's Alliance and the Oregon Hunters Association, argued the measure threatened sustainable conservation programs funded by hunters and anglers while jeopardizing livelihoods tied to agriculture and ranching. Notably, opposition to the initiative crossed political lines, with Oregon Governor Tina Kotek, Democratic legislative leaders, and Republican lawmakers all publicly rejecting the proposal. Although the initiative failed to reach the ballot, its chief petitioner acknowledged the campaign was intended to build long-term momentum for similar measures in Oregon and other states.
I was just going to add that in, that if one state, if anything is ridiculously stupid, I have to watch my language, would ever pass, I mean, it just sets precedence for other states to fall in line, right?
Exactly. This would have been a signaling that sportsmen, agricultural producers, conservation advocates would all likely remain engaged in defending. They've all said they're going to defend this regulated hunting, fishing, and farming practices in the future if this would come up again. Now, what is IP28, for those of you that didn't know? It was a proposal known as the Peace Act, Initiative Petition 28, which would have removed many of the legal exemptions that currently allow activities involving animals, including hunting, trapping, and fishing, including catch and release fishing, livestock and ranching operations.
Catch and release fishing?
They are cracking down on anything we enjoy out in the outdoors.
That you can't even. Wow, I didn't know that catch and release was in there. I read some of this and I knew that trapping was in there. I knew that hunting was in there. But then again, hunting is kind of broad. What is that? Is that archery? Is it muzzleloader?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I had no idea that it was catch and release was in there too. Okay, and you said
this would also have not just the animals, even some forms of pest control, and then certain wildlife and animal research practices too would have been abolished. The measure would also create
abolished.
It's my own words. It's my show. I can say what I want. The measure would also create programs intended to help Oregon transition toward what supporters describes as a no kill or harm sanctuary state. So why was this gaining attention? Previous versions of the proposal failed to reach the ballot back in 2020 and 2022. That's why we need to be alarmed.
I didn't know that they were trying to put it on the ballot.
This has been going on.
I didn't know that.
This has been going on for 5-6 years already. Opponents believe this year's effort has a stronger chance because organizers had more funding and had used paid signature gatherers, which Oregon law allows. I didn't realize you could get paid.
Okay, this thing, I mean, how deep down the rabbit hole is this thing going to go?
I know. That's what the issue is right there. Is we've all seen it where one state makes a chess move and then all of a sudden other ones fall suit.
Into place. If it can be done there, we can do it here, sort of thing. Yeah.
And I don't like it when you start hearing words of wanting it to become a sanctuary state.
Well, and
when it comes to hunting and fishing and wildlife, agriculture, production, there's so many avenues.
And we can be out here and we can be upset with this, meaning us as, agriculturalists, farmers, ranchers, land users, outdoorsmen, hunting. I mean, let's just wrap that all underneath one umbrella, and we can get upset about this and say, this is ridiculous because somebody that isn't involved in said activities or have the education or the background or the experience is trying to make decisions on our livelihood, our behalf, or of the wildlife or the livestock or the land or whatever the case is. However, we can be upset all we want, but case in point is the squeaky wheel gets the grease. We've talked about this a number of times. So even though it's super ridiculous that anybody would even conceive something like this or even sign a petition, as ridiculous as it is, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. So when there are those meetings in your township, your parish, your county, your state, and things that might affect you in whatever it is, it's just another sign for people to get involved, right?
100%.
We can use that word educate all we want, but if somebody doesn't want to listen on the other side, then it's all right. We need to escalate this to another level and go to those meetings and let your opinion be heard and start the debate back and forth, because the squeaky wheel gets the grease all the time.
That is correct. The squeaky wheel, it can get the I see where you're going.
I should say the squeaky wheel tends to get the grease. How about that?
There we go. Okay. But what I see about this that is the most alarming is that it even made it to the point that it did. They had 144,000 signatures, and of course they had to validate these signatures, and they lost enough to get them below the threshold. They needed 13,000 more because they had so many that were fakes, as you might want to say.
Right.
Didn't pan out for their plan. But as this is kind of an election year, maybe you missed the midterms, but we do know in November there's going to be issues that come up on the ballot. This is just a reminder to have that open conversation of maybe there's a generation that's 10, 15, 20 years younger than you. It's okay. Don't come across as being aggressive,
but
angry,
we need to be advocates.
But you have to have the conversation. That's what I'm saying.
And we need to be advocates for ourselves, because those people that maybe are against us, using that loosely, I guess, they're advocating for what they want. So if we don't step up and advocate for what we know and believe is the right thing to do, no one else is going to do it.
Well, 100%.
So, I mean, it's just a sign that, you need to kind of get involved and step up.
Well, this is a major sign that you need to step up and be aware of what's happening in your state or regionally for sure, because if you look at this made it as far as it did, and that means there is a generation that is thinking differently than you and I maybe.
There you go.
It's a reminder that there are people needing to be educated on our way of life, as these folks, especially the younger generations, they're not afraid to take action. That means we need to as well. All right, folks, let's take a quick break here. Don't go anywhere. We've got more of The Ben Show coming back.
ranchchannel.com, your farm and ranch network on demand. Bull sales, western events, product information, right at your fingertips on the ultimate cowboy-friendly platform. Want to follow up-to-date markets? ranchchannel.com. No need to dig for information on all these different websites. It's all right there on ranchchannel.com. Y'all are loving it now, aren't you?
Welcome to Sire Buyer, a place where we connect cattlemen, the nation's #1 destination for buying and selling breeding genetics. In-depth reviews and upbeat news on your favorite sires. Sire Buyer features the top Angus bulls across the country. Be sure to sign up to receive your directory by emailing info@sirebuyer.com. If you're looking for the best place in breeding genetics, you've just found it.
Are you looking for true price discovery for your feeder cattle? Look no further than Superior Livestock Auction. The Bighorn Classic is coming up August 17th through the 21st, followed by the Labor Day sale. Any questions, reach out to your Superior Livestock Auction rep or call Superior Livestock Customer Service at 800-422-2117. View the Bighorn Classic live August 17th through the 21st on Dish Network Channel 997 and online at sla-tv.com. Welcome back to The Ben Show. I'm your host, Rebecca Wanner, a.k.a. Beck, and Jeff Tigger Erhardt is in the co-host chair. So the latest happenings around here is a couple of days ago, I took our nephews and one niece on a camping trip overnight, just Beck and 5 kids, 12 years all the way down to 5 years of age. Ned might be mad if I don't say he's 5 now. But anyway.
Oh, yeah, he just had a birthday, didn't he?
It was a lot of fun. So if you're looking for a last minute trip to do with even just the kids, like I said, I'm auntie. I pitched the idea to Tigger, and in less than 24 hours, I was out camping with
and
5 little kids.
It worked out great because I had a rodeo that I had to do for television,
yes.
And you were like, you know what? I just kind of need a break a little bit. And you said, I think I'm going to do this. And it was really cool because it wasn't like you packed them up in the camper and drove 7 hours or anything like that. You just went in the pasture by the pond and had a heyday.
Exactly. That is literally what we did. We did not glamp, which I had to laugh. Our 9-year-old niece, Kit, she was like, what's glamping? And we said, that's what happens when you're in a camper. So we had 4 tents set up. So there's a couple of boys that are a little older, if you're wondering why we did 4. And this is an idea, too, to help you out to make it a little more exciting is there were 3 boys that were the ages of 11 and 12, right in that area. So they each got their own one-man tent. Believe me, that put it over the top, that they got to put up their own tent, camp in their own tent, and all that. Well, regardless, we had a campfire, we did some fishing, and this is where it got interesting. Around 10 o'clock at night, because where we're at up north, you really don't eat catfish, okay? That's just not one of those things that's
don't get me wrong. Catfish is fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
I love it, but
is.
You have to know how to get that mud vein out of them. And where we're at, catfish are not a delicacy. Walleye is the delicacy. So a lot of people, if they catch a cat, they just throw it back.
Exactly. And
unless you are Beck's family.
Well, these boys pitched it at me at about 9:30, 10, and I was done saying, no more hot dogs, whatever. And they had catfish down on the stringer, and one of them had said, can we cook it up? And I was like, well, I did bring aluminum foil, lots of butter, and some lemon pepper seasoning. If you boys want to, I'm not touching this thing. This is all on you. Well, those boys did, and they brought back, they didn't take the skin off of it. They brought the fillets as they were, and we put a ton of butter, and my brothers couldn't believe that we ate this thing. But it was just the fillets with the skin, put them on the grill, not the grill, over the campfire. We put a grate on the campfire, just to give you that image, used aluminum foil, lots of butter, lots of lemon pepper seasoning, and cooked the heck out of it.
And you said it was, and you're not a fish eater like I am, and you said
good.
It was really, really good. So good for them that they kind of figured it out.
And everybody had some, and everybody loved it. But this came across my feed because, like I said, we just cooked the fillets, you might say. So, of course, the head got discarded. The tail absolutely got discarded. Well, get this. People fry fish tails. Have you ever heard about this? Fried fish tails. And they're saying it's one of the best fish dishes you've been missing. Would you say yay or nay?
I'm okay missing that.
Well, get this. You can turn small fish tails into crispy, briny chips with a quick dredge and fry. Yeah, get this. Apparently, it's like a snack. You can take anything from salmon to cod to tilefish. They say black sea bass is really a fine eat. And they also, I guess, say trout and perch are up there too. They fry up nicely, and everyone says it's just like eating a potato chip.
Well, you can deep fry anything, right? So in this case, why not?
Chicken feet?
If that's what you want to do, go ahead and fry up the fish tails. I'm out.
Well, if you are in and do have a fishtail fried recipe, please share it with us. You can send it to bendradioshow@gmail.com. We're going to call this show wrapped for this week, folks. And remember to keep sending in your thoughts on some of the topics we talked about today. They were kind of controversial. I'd love to hear about it, as well as anything spot-worthy for us to share. Or maybe you want to let us know if you've reeled in any of those biggins out there while you're fishing. That number again, call or text anytime, 305-900-2363. Again, 305-900-2363. Or you can always email bendradioshow@gmail.com. And if you missed part of this show or want to hear past episodes, you can find them all on the website, thebendshow.com. Finally, a big thanks to you listeners out there that came along. And whether you're coming or going today, stay with us as we ranch it up. And remember to keep up with me back all week long by following The Bend on Facebook and on Instagram at The Bend Show. This is Rebecca Wanner. Catch Beck if you can next week on The Bend.